Hey everybody, welcome back to the Scentitar Fragrance channel. Thank you so much for being here today. Let's talk about another fantastic fragrance, another fantastic date night fragrance. Before we do, my name is Benjamin, and I review fragrances, colognes, perfumes, and all things scent related. So thank you so much for being here. If you're new to my channel here today, you're always welcome here. Hello to you. And if you're a subscriber, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Frag Fam. So let's talk about this fragrance. This is none other than Prada Rossa Black. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot to say about this fragrance. Of course, we got to first talk about the smell and the composition, then the projection and longevity, then the compliment factor, and lastly the price. So first off, guys and gals, this is a fragrance that you've never smelled before. There's nothing out there like this. I'm definitely willing to say that this fragrance is very different. Now I'm going to put the notes below, but let's talk about the main accords and how this fragrance smells and feels. So the three main accords you're going to get with this fragrance is first, there's no doubt about it, this is a tonka fragrance. But this tonka isn't roasted, it isn't sweet, it definitely is not on the caramel side of tonka. Tonka, if pulled off right, can smell like vanilla, but this definitely is a tonka fragrance that lets you know that tonka is a whole different beast. It has its own personality. This is a very different tonka. So be aware of that. This is dry and airy tonka. Then this fragrance has patchouli. It manages to hold onto some of the darkness that patchouli can have, but it doesn't have the earthiness, and it also is rather dry for a patchouli. So very interesting use of notes here. And perhaps one of the most odd and interesting facets to this fragrance is this interesting, almost overbearing amber. It's a white amber, but it almost smells like incense. Very interesting and very different. Three accords that are very different, especially in the designer world, mixed together, and this is kind of what you get in this fragrance. Also, I do feel like there is a tiny bit of a floral facet mixed in and playing around with these notes. So you get a little bit of floral, perhaps a tiny bit of citrus mixed in to help brighten this up a little bit. But it's a very airy, dry, bad boy, avant-garde fragrance, no doubt about it. So let's talk about then the projection longevity. So this fragrance was very different for me on my skin, and really different from any fragrance that I've ever experienced before. So on my skin, at the 4, maybe 5 hour mark or so, it's hard for me to detect on my skin. Now, I didn't think I was going nosmic or nose blind because I didn't feel like this fragrance performed beastly to begin with, but people could notice it up to 6 or 7 hours. So performance is not bad, maybe average or above average. People could really notice this fragrance projection-wise. And I wouldn't say it performs excellent, but it's good, maybe even very good. So this fragrance is not a bad performer. It's not bad at all. But it's hard to talk about this fragrance because I think that this fragrance has a lot of sillage to it. Now, if you're unfamiliar with sillage, sillage is kind of, instead of the fragrance projecting outwardly from you, it's kind of a trail behind you. So whenever you make movement, or it's kind of like a slow projection. So when you're walking past somebody's going to be able to smell your trail, or if you're sitting somewhere, there's going to be a little bubble just build around you. So this is a very almost enchanting fragrance in how it performs. I actually like how this fragrance performs. Very interesting way they pulled that off. Congratulations on that. I didn't know, I've never come across a fragrance that performs this way. But with the compliment factor, guys and gals, this fragrance is really hard to judge. I got times where people thought this was kind of strange, too different, so it was a little too much because it was so different. And I also got times where they definitely recognized that this is a bad boy fragrance, that this definitely did the job, that this definitely reeled them in, pulled them in. You know, you're the guy, the man of the moment, and this did the job, no doubt about it. So guys, I definitely think that this is an option. I definitely do think the compliment factor is there. I do feel like this fragrance has more of a serious vibe to it. Again, this fragrance really doesn't have much that's very playful, and it doesn't have a lot to it that's very sweet. So if you're looking for compliments, this is more of a Netflix and chill, a date night fragrance, or perhaps you're just wanting to feel really good wearing that black leather jacket. Perhaps you're going to get on your motorcycle. This is the kind of fragrance that's going to boost your mood, boost your appeal, and set the mood, no doubt about it. But I don't think that just going out and about that you're going to get compliments just out of the blue from people, unsolicited compliments. I don't know if you're going to get them. But again, with a very sensual fragrance, for a fragrance that's, you know, really definitely putting yourself out there, I definitely think that it can get you the look. So, guys, this definitely can definitely do the job out there. With the price, let's talk about the price. This is an $80 fragrance. Of course, in the designer world, $80 are about. It's slowly getting to discounters. You can find good deals out there closer to the $60 mark. The price is going down. If you like cheapies or a steal, you're probably going to have to hold off even longer. So it's not, you know, it's not $40 yet. It's definitely not a $30 fragrance yet. So, but of course, there are some people willing out there to sell decants like myself. But overall, with my final score, this was really hard for me to judge. I really like it on one side of things because they pushed the envelope. They took a risk. They created a very interesting fragrance, a very almost avant-garde fragrance in the designer world, no doubt about it. This is definitely going to get people's feet onto the niche world, you know, going forward, because it's a designer fragrance that's so different. This might help people have a creativity for fragrances that are much more creative, much more artistic and different. So I really do enjoy that Prada was willing to do that. This fragrance is very different from all the other Prada fragrances in their line. This doesn't smell like any of the other Prada fragrances. Not at all. I think that maybe they could have even named it, you know, a completely different name, a completely different bottle, and perhaps that's what they should have done. On the other side of things, this is not a fragrance that appeals to me personally. I just have to be completely honest with y'all. This is a fragrance, at first, I even told Redolescence in the comments, one of his comment sections, that I thought this was the best release of 2018. I probably don't think so anymore. I've tested this, I've worn this for a while, and I've come to the conclusion that it just doesn't suit my personality. Incense fragrances have to be done in a very particular way. That note has to be masterfully done, and amber has to be masterfully done in a fragrance kind of a feel that appeals to me. So for me personally, this fragrance just doesn't do it. It doesn't suit my personality. It doesn't suit my vibe. But I do think that this fragrance is well done. But I do, again, think that it's more for the mature crowd. I think you're going to have to be in your early 30s. If you're late 20s, early 30s, this is definitely a very good fragrance for you to check out. If you're willing to put your foot forward on undiscovered ground, you know, go to a land of adventure, and you don't want to spend the big bucks on niche, definitely try a fragrance out like this, or Gucci Guilty Absolute, Encre Noir. There's many fragrances out there in the designer world where you can smell very different, very interesting, and unique. This is one of those fragrances. I think this is very unique. So I know I've been delaying my final score, but if I was to give this a final score, I would probably give it a 6.5. If you want my personal score, this is probably a 5 out of 10 fragrance. I respect the fragrance, but it's not for me personally. Overall, very interesting. I do wish that there was a little bit more smoothness to this fragrance. I wish that it wasn't so dry, and I do wish that there was just perhaps for me personally something else to this fragrance. Perhaps a really interesting like marshmallow note, or something really interesting with a like papyrus. This fragrance is definitely different. Why not make it even more different? But thank y'all so much for being here. These are my final thoughts on Prada Luna Rossa Black, with my final score being, you know, that 6.5 out of 10. Respect the fragrance. Again, if you're looking for a summer night fragrance, a date night fragrance for this summer, this fragrance seems to do well with a tiny bit of heat. This is definitely kind of a fall fragrance though, so be easy on the trigger. But again, if you're wanting to smell very modern, very different, and very interesting, this is definitely a great fragrance. And if you're that kind of person who's avant-garde, wearing sunglasses in the day, you know what, you know who you are. This is the kind of fragrance for you. I'm definitely going to put that out there. But thank y'all so much for being here. If you want to keep supporting me as a fragrance reviewer, definitely putting my opinions out there and helping you in the fragrance community, please consider giving me a like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode, and share the video to support me. So thank y'all so much for your support. Thank you so much for being here in the fragrance community. Y'all make this channel a success. Y'all really do. And I appreciate every single one of you. And I'm going to see y'all next time. This has been my review. Again, Prada Luna Rossa Black. Interesting stuff. I'll see y'all next time. Have a great one. And of course, wear what you love. I'll see you next time. Bye.